The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Brecheen. Brought to you by Medine's Collision Center in Baton Rouge. Take control, choose Medine's. Grosse Savant Lodge, south of Lake Charles, the true sportsman's paradise. Treads and Care Company in Central, the tires you need, the service you want. Harvey Auto in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you have trusted for years. And Gage in Baton Rouge. Get better connected with Gage. Here's your host, Lee Brecheen.
Welcome to the Sports Scouting Report. I'm Lee Brecheen, your host. Really proud to announce a great guest. And I love track. People think I'm just a football guy, but in high school, I actually did better in track than I did in football. I personally ran track. I ran the relays and I ran the 100 meters. I regret not throwing the javelin, but our guest today is one of the top track coaches, not just in Louisiana, but in the country at Edna Karr High School, Coach Errin Singleton. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All the way from Algiers, Coach. The background, that field, a lot of great games on that field behind you. We're going to get to that. And we got the great Mississippi. We got the river behind you, man. That's a great picture, man. I love that picture behind you.
Definitely a great atmosphere.
Coach, you're the secret behind these football teams. I mean, people think of football, they say, well, that guy's fast. And me and you talked the other day, and you'll say, and people say, well, you know, this DB can run a 4.5, and you know, this linebacker can run a 4.6. But behind the scenes, a lot of these kids at Edna Karr, a lot of them are track performers for your track team and have been for a long time. And Coach, you do a phenomenal job, and we're going to talk about your track guys, and a lot of them are football guys. Some are track guys only, but how important is track to football? I know the answer, but I know that for people watching, I mean, track just improves so much, right, Coach, with a kid's game in all sports.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, a lot of it is technique. A lot of it is confidence. You know, last year I took over the program from Coach Niall Lagania, who moved on to Dillon University. He and I were best friends growing up at Karr. We were both students here. So it was a seamless transition. But you get those guys, and by me also being the running backs coach, a lot of kids come out. You know, I had the Aaron Anderson, who's now at Bama. And I think back to last year's spring game, because, you know, Aaron ran track, but he didn't really take it seriously until last year.
Okay.
The spring game, he actually caught a 5-yard hitch, and it was just like, good night. He came to the sideline. He was like, Coach, you were right. Track works. You know, then I have a Kyden Lampton, another receiver. Kids are catching slant balls, and they're just separating from people. You know, so this year it made things better and worse. You had a lot more kids wanting to come out. Coach, can I just practice with you guys? Like, you know, come on up. You know, I had, you know, my top 2 running backs, actually my top 3, because one kid played a little bit receiver last year. He's actually gonna join us in the backfield for next season. But they were all out there. The competitiveness, it's a team sport, but it's also has a really big individual component. You know, and just we focus on a lot of fundamentals, you know, teaching kids how to run. And of course, with football players, you always have, you know, there are some things, a kid that carries the ball a lot has a different running form that you kind of have to break down in track. But for me, it was seamless because I was a running back. So I kind of knew coming in, okay, these kids that are on offense that carry the ball a lot, they have, you know, they don't have the technical running form. You know, you'll see those arms kind of side to side as if they're protecting the ball, keeping the ball to their body. So, you know, just things like that, and just teaching them, you know, how to run. You know, what do the mechanics look like?
And people say across the state in conversation, I can go to Ponchatoula, Coach, I can go to Shreveport, just any high school fanatic will say, man, Edna Karr, their speed just looks different. And that's why, I mean, track, that little extra first step, like you said, out of the blocks, right? The twitch, the turn, the side to side, the hips being loose, not being stiff, and still carry the weight really well. Because Karr, y'all's backs weigh 190. 185, 95, and still not stiff, still have those loose hips. I remember my biggest problem, Coach, was getting out of the break for the 100, that first step. And it taught me so much in football. And then, endurance. I remember practice, and I know you probably do this with your guys. I'm going to ask you, but warming up a mile at practice to run track. You go warm up a mile.
Yeah.
I mean, I might even do more than that, but I remember at first I'm like, man, we got to run a mile. And they're like, hey, you want to run track? You gotta be in great condition, right, Coach?
Great. I mean, our warm up, it changed depending on where we're at in the season. It may be an 800, maybe a mile. Getting those kids, your sprinters really don't like it.
Yeah.
But once they start to see the results, once they run that, they're a little gassed. My kids always want to do block work at the beginning of practice. Nope. So we'll save it to the end. I need to see you, just like in football, when you're tired, what are you going to do? How are you going to perform? Are you going to go back to those, your basics, your fundamentals? Those are the things that, we need to see. Handoffs, end of practice. I don't need to see it fresh. Anybody can run fresh and get that handoff down.
Right. Well, Coach, we're going to take a break. We have our guest here, Errin Singleton, the head track coach for Edna Karr High School and the running backs coach for the football team. Double duty. Coach knows these guys inside and out, football, track. And we're going to have more. We're going to talk about his football team later in the show, but we're going to talk about the track guys. When we come back, I want to talk about Raji Dennis, one of his top track performers, one of the best track guys in the state. Brag on him when we come back. We'll be right back.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Welcome back. We've got our great guest, Coach Errin Singleton. I was about to call you Aaron Anderson. Who was your player? He was a track guy. But Errin Singleton, head coach, Edna Karr track, running backs coach, football. Speaking of speed, I mean, my goodness, Racy McMath, former track guy, football guy, now in the NFL. Aaron Anderson, fastest guy in the state last year. Your guy, track guy. Speedy Knoll, you said did the what now, coach, in track? I didn't know.
Speedy was a long jumper, triple jumper, and high jump. Man. I mean, he was the field event guy.
And then you got
really had him. He was all in. Everyone thinks Speedy. He can get on the infield with some field events, and he can get down with the best.
And also, Edna Karr's got a receiver at Nicholls State that might get drafted in June.
Dejon Dixon. Dejon, he'll probably be by later. He comes by every day now and kind of works out, just getting his body right. But he's a guy. I wish we could have gotten him on the track. Racy ran his junior year going into his senior year. And the things they did with that kid, I mean, his senior year, you just saw like a man child. I mean, he would just catch bubbles and it was just like, PAT, he's going to score.
And it was crazy. Y'all had Deshaun Dixon and McMath.
His size and McMath. I mean, that year, we had those two. We had Santi Marshall, who's a starting running back at Jackson State. Alden Clark was, he just finished up at Grambling. Warren Newman, who was at Jackson State.
Oh, he was a great running back.
On the same offense.
Wow. And Warren was the toughest 5'7" guy I've ever seen.
Oh, my gosh. And he would refuse to fair catch anything.
Like a tank.
Coach, I'm not scared.
Yeah, he was tough. And this leads to your track guy that you have now, your top guy, Raji Dennis, who's only going to be a junior. And you told me the other day, Coach, he runs a 10,500 meters, which is insane for high school track. 2.4. Oh, he might have improved it, huh?
Well, last night we had regionals. He went 10.35.
What?
He went 10.35, 100 meters. And he went 20.89, 200 meters.
Whoa, Coach.
He ran both of those races against the defending state champion from Warren Easton.
Coach, is this the fastest time in the country? 10.3. It's definitely one of the top three, huh?
It's I mean, there's a kid from Tylertown who we saw in Mobile about a month ago who went 10.25. He can move on. I mean, these times are dropping.
Wow, because I remember Landon Collins ran a 10.5 at 200 pounds. That was a great deal a few years ago. And then Eddie Kennison was at Washington Marion.
Yeah.
I think the best he ever did in high school was 10.4. And I think he did
I mean,
10 at LSU. 10.3.
10.3. I mean, last night it was, I have my running back who's 180 pounds, DeAndre Jackson. He went 10.61 and finished 4th.
What?
He didn't qualify for state, but he PR. I mean, he knew going in, the caliber that was in the heat. He was like, and we preached to him Sunday at practice, Monday, you have to get out and go.
And DeAndre also, you told me, runs a 21.5, 200 meters. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's incredible, Coach.
I mean, and folks look at him and think, oh, he's a thumper. He's an inside guy.
Yeah.
And I've been telling him since last year, if you get 5 yards, you can get 50 because he doesn't go down. You can't arm tackle him. Yeah. And once he gets to linebacker level, it's a track meet.
For the college coaches out there, DeAndre is not one of the star guys yet, but he's the guy to remember.
He's a game changer.
And then you got Bryson Osborne, who's new for you from Lusher, who's a great track guy.
Bryson's actually moving over to running back this year. So he'll be in that mix with us. But he runs on my 4x1, my 4x2, and my 4x4. He's the first leg on 4x1 and 4x2. He gets it all going.
And you've got one of the top DBs in the country participating in track long jump. You told me Ryan Robinson is doing long jump.
Yeah, Ryan hadn't jumped since he was in AAU, probably coming out of 8th grade.
Wow.
He was like, Coach, I can jump. He came out, he wanted to work on his speed, and he wanted to compete, which, I mean, a kid that plays corner wants to compete. What more can you ask for? I mean, he came out, they all see Raji and they were like, I don't think I want to really practice with him. But I'm like, no, run with him. It's only going to help you.
And then you got another guy, Michael Richard, who does almost under 11 in the 100 meters, right, Coach?
Yeah, Mike, he didn't run this year. He wanted to focus on, on football. He didn't run. He didn't play baseball this year. He kind of wanted to work on his body, get a little bigger. He kind of noticed last year, not missing those months in the weight room really hurt him, later in the season, even though he was able to push through and didn't miss a game. So he's bulking up. He just committed this week to UTSA. So that's big. I think he's excited about that.
And I want to mention another guy who's only a junior, the future quarterback, Cameron Reed. You told me throws the javelin almost 150 feet as a junior. That's this is his 10th grade year. He came out. I was like, hey, I'm watching the way he throws 9 balls. I was like, look, throwing the javelin is like throwing a 9 ball on the run. He was like, yes, Coach. One of those kids. Kid you just love. Last night in regionals, he's in 5th place with his last throw. And I pulled him to the side. I said, come here. I said, take a deep breath, because he fouled on his first 2 jumps in the finals. So he's sitting in 5th. I said, take a deep breath. I said, look, you're throwing a 9 ball to Raji. Make him go and get it. He was like, yes, Coach. And he threw 142 feet, jumped into 2nd place, qualified for state. Wow. And only a sophomore. You got 2 more years of track for him. He might hit 200. He might hit 200 in 2 years.
He might.
Stuff, Coach. Coach, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to ask you how your track team did last night, and also what you think about the state meet coming up in May, which is around the block for the state champion at LSU. We're going to be right back with more of our coach Singleton, Errin Singleton, from Edna Karr, track coach, and also running back coach for Edna Karr High School. We'll be right back.
If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medine's Collision Center, located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Welcome back. I'm Lee Brecheen, your host of Sports Scouting Report. We've got our guest coach, Errin Singleton, Edna Karr High School track coach, head track coach. They got a chance to win a state championship in less than 2 weeks, LSU's outdoor state championship. Coach, we were talking off the air about a lot of good football players that are long and have natural speed, and they're sophomores, juniors, freshmen, not doing track, and not doing much that could help them. you know?
Yeah.
If they do try.
Track, coaches, we talk during meets, and it's surprising. Some schools, they don't really force their football guys to run track. If the track coach is not affiliated with the football program, some of those relationships, I'm just like, it's about the kids at the end of the day. Some schools are getting kids that are seniors that are done with football, don't have anything to do. They come out and you're like, man, this kid can actually perform. Yeah. Imagine what 2 or 3 more years would have done for them. Again, it helps on both ends. Those kids come back to football. I always looked at it as, if I can run 200 meters, I definitely can run full speed for 4 or 5 seconds in football. Growing up, summer practice, 2 days, I would have track practice and football practice. Football practice, I'm like, why are you guys bent over? And I'm standing straight. I'm like, I got to get in shape.
Yeah. Endurance, like this is nothing. Coach, I always tell the big linemen when I see them, those guys that are 280, natural, lean, 6'3", 4, and I'm always telling them, it's like, do you throw shot put? And they go, no. And I'm like, why? I'm like, do you realize you can get a college scholarship if you just say 50 feet? Yeah. Coach, what do you, you got a lot of big linemen in the school. I know you're recruiting all the time too.
Our right tackle has thrown for me the last 2 years. Brandon Spencer, he'll be a senior next year. He's thrown for me the last 2 years. I had one of our linebackers throwing this year. You need that size, that girth. I'm looking at a lot of the kids throwing yesterday in the regional meet. I'm just like, yep, that's a left tackle. Oh, that's a guard. That's a center. Yeah. You have guys those guys in the trenches. It's an easy transition for them. And the ones that actually do it, sky's the limit,
Yeah, Coach, I saw the other day in the paper, the Jesuit quarterback throwing a javelin over,
oh my gosh,
225, 230 something, national record. When I hear 230 plus in the javelin, being an ex-track guy and you being a track coach, I'm like, whoa, you don't hear 200 very often. But what do you think of Jack? And he's going LSU for track. And I know they won the national championship last year, but in track, but man, what's the key to, how do you get 230 plus feet on a javelin? That's in high school.
That's a mom and dad situation there. That kid is special. I'm a fan of it. I talk to the head coach at St. All the time, and I'm like, Coach, that kid is special. Not only him, they have probably their top 2 distance programs in America. They have 6 kids that run their distance program that are special. And next year we're going into the Catholic League, so I'm like,
yeah, right.
They all come back. I'm just like, oh,
it's gonna be Clash of the Titans of the track world.
It's like good thing Jack's graduating. I'm excited about that. But those 6 distance kids, they all come back.
That's a lot of points.
I love to see it. It's all about the kids. I tell my my guy Raji, he has 2 more years. He's like, Coach, you coming with me? I was like, it's not about me. It's about you. I'm just a vessel, to get whatever, God had planned for you to get it out, and showcase to the world. So when I see these kids running these great times, man, I just applaud them. It doesn't matter the school. I teach my guys, we started this last year with St. Augustine. It's always, St. All Karr. We compete on the track. When it was our district meet last year, they came out and supported us. The next day, I said, we're going to their meet. And 2 weeks later at the state meet, we go up a day early. We take those kids out together, let them dine together. We took them bowling at Main Event out in Baton Rouge because, we're trying to show them, hey, it's not this school versus that school. When you all are outside of New Orleans, you have to be able to coexist together.
Right.
It's bigger than my school versus your school.
Right.
It's okay to cheer for another guy when you're not competing against them. They were 5A, we were 4A. Once we ran their track meet, and we competed against each other. Okay, now let's turn the switch. Let's push those guys, Hey, you guys want to, get to state. We want to meet you guys in state. Let's go out, have a good time together. And I just think, with all that goes on in our city, we're just trying to, mend fences, have kids where they can see each other out in the bottom, like, hey, I know that guy. I can go have a conversation with him versus everything being, I'm from this place, you're from that place, we're against each other.
Yeah. Track's a small community. Everybody needs to be tight, man. It's small. And look, this year, just following the New Orleans, just in Algiers and what y'all doing on the West Bank. I mean, John Ehret, LB Landry, Warren Easton, Jesuit, John Curtis, McDonough 35. I mean, as a group, y'all could probably win the national track circuit in any state just with those teams, and then throwing Catholic High, Baton Rouge, and these other ones. Wow, and Ruston, Louisiana, phenomenal. We're gonna take a break. When I come back, I want to have Coach think of this. Tell me, Coach, think of this between now and coming back. The best football player to ever run track, in your opinion, or name a couple. I've got my two, growing up, guys that I thought were great football players, but also great track guys. We'll be right back with more. Coach Errin Singleton, Edna Karr High School track, and also running backs coach for the football team. We'll be right back.
Be sure to take your car and truck for all your tire needs to Treads and Care Tire Company located in Central. The number to call is 331-8144. Family owned and operated since 1971. That's Treads and Care Tire Company.
Welcome back. You listen to the Sports Scouting Report. I'm Lee Brecheen, your host. Louisiana Football Magazine. We're going to have Edna Karr in our preview this September, and it's going to be a heck of a preview. There's so many kids in the program that we have to mention that me and Coach are going to try our best just on the 25 to 30 and maybe 35 guys that will be rotating in and out for the program this coming year. In the Catholic League in 5A, which is going to be the best, I think, most talented district in the state now this coming year in football. Coach, I was asking you off before we took a break who your favorite track guys were of all time that played football. My two real quick growing up was Ronaldo Nehemiah and Willie Gault. I thought Willie Gault was a heck of a football player at Tennessee. Great football guy, track guy that played football. Nehemiah was more track guy that played football. And then Leonard Scott, growing up in Baton Rouge at Zachary, was a great runner at Tennessee. And Reggie Wayne, I know, was one of the great ones I covered in track growing up at John Ehret. Who would you say were two or three of the best ever that you've seen?
I'll give you one old school and one from the younger audience. So the younger audience, Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
I mean, I've watched some videos of that. I mean, you just watch him. He's running 200 meters and he's just blowing by guys. You see the same thing on the football field, though.
Yeah.
Speed kills. And for my older guys, I went to Florida A&M University. So for me, it's Bullet Bob Hayes, the only guy with the Super Bowl ring and the gold medal. I mean, when you get the nickname Bullet, I mean,
right. Yeah. Bob, I didn't know Bob went to Florida A&M. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, he was one of the Dallas Cowboy greats during that.
I knew you were gonna mention that place.
Now, I'm not a Cowboys fan.
Yeah,
I'm not a Cowboys fan at all. Now, are you? All right, I got to ask you this. You went to Florida A&M, and now you're in New Orleans. Are you a Dolphins fan or a Jacksonville fan?
No way. I mean, I'm New Orleans bred.
Oh, okay.
I graduated from Edna Karr. So, I went away for school. I was away for 8 years, school and some work. I did a little work at Major League Baseball, and then I moved back. I wanted to teach, I wanted to coach. I wanted to teach. So I moved home and started teaching. This is year 11 teaching for me. But no, I can't support anyone but the Saints.
Oh man, we need to get the Saints back online to have a great year this coming year. They got a good defense back. Great linebacker core, man. The best linebacking core in the league, and the D line is at the right spot too. We need to get that offense back. Coach, about the football team, Samuels is back, which is big time key for the program. And I mean, he's built like a safety, runs like a running back, not rattled, plays big games every week, just makes it look easy like a lot of the quarterbacks that y'all have had. What does it mean to the program to have your quarterback back third year in a row with all that experience coming back, and then moving up in the Catholic League and having him behind that center to be a part of that with all them, 40 games under his belt.
Yeah, I mean, we can't imagine going into the Catholic League with a new quarterback. So, this will be a good, all right, that's one position where we have confidence. Like, okay, quarterback's back, running backs are back, receivers. Okay, the O-line, we have 3 returning starters on the offensive line. So, you have that, let's pick up. Spring can go a little different because these guys have already been in it. You don't have to spend as much time installing certain things in different packages. But we're looking forward to it. We should have went 3 years ago, just didn't have the enrollment. But it's going to be, it's going to be big. I mean, you're in the Catholic League for district. When it's time for playoffs, you have to go non-select. Yeah. So that's when you have to go your Zachary's, your Acadianas, your Destrans, your Rustons, your John Erritz. I mean, it's going to be rough. I mean, we actually have a bye week, and we are not looking to fill it. This is a marathon.
Yeah,
it's a good test. Kids come here because they want to play the best. So that's what we're trying to give them. This schedule, probably the toughest schedule in school history. Last year's schedule was the toughest in school history. So it just keeps, it keeps going and keeps going. But that's why kids want to play here, because they want to have those games.
And Bryce Brown's been a great head coach. I know you enjoy working for Bryce. He just always seems he's always never rattled, it seems, as a head guy. Even when he's angry, he's a calm angry, you just have that look from him, that, hey, either get it done but he's always in control of what's going on. He seems like for a former player of Edna Karr like yourself, being that he was an O lineman at Edna Karr at one time and at Grambling, I mean, he's a great guy. I mean, I remember his first year when I met him, and how, laid back he is with all these state championship titles, very, very much someone that you wouldn't think has several state championships.
I mean, he's a great guy to work with. He lets his coaches coach. If he sees something that needs to be adjusted, he'll speak on it and expects it to be done. And with that expectation, everyone, what you're getting. His demeanor carries over to the team. You have a cool head in a hot game. That's one of his favorite ones. After the first play, everyone has that emotion. After the first play, what's your plan now? Now I can think back to 2015. We were playing Bastrop. We're in the playoffs. We're at Bastrop. They jump out on us 22-0. We're on the headset. I'm looking at him. He's about 5 yards away from me. He's just calm and cool. And I was like, why should I be all
right?
He came back and won that game by 21 points. We were down 22-0 in the first quarter. And I'm just like, man, if Coach B is not rattled, who am I to be rattled? All right, let's do this.
Okay.
Carries over. You're playing in a game at Berman. You're playing Carver in 2017. Very little time left. You punt the ball with a little bit over a minute left and give them the ball back. Yeah. They're winning. You get it back. He calls a play and he just touchdown. He was like, "You ready?" He literally told the kid, "You ready? You ready to score the game winner?" And the kid was like, "Yes, coach." And it happened. And things like that. That's why when he speaks, when the position coaches speak, the kids are all in. We have our meetings. He's in his meeting with his group. I have my meeting. We have 2 running back coaches. He has a quarterbacks coach, and he meets with the quarterbacks. You have 2 receiver coaches. When the coaches are speaking, the kids they're in because they know. I mean, the amount we're here 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, and they know. Coaches, we spend a lot of time game planning and preparation, and the kids, they appreciate it. They appreciate the detail that they get. We're in study hall 4 days a week. We have film session 3 or 4 days a week. It goes, we a lot of folks look at us, oh, can we, a lot of the travel team, can we come and watch a practice during the summer? I was like, yeah, but it's got to be a Wednesday. Like, what you mean? It's the only day we practice on the field. It was like, wait, what do y'all do the other days? It just depends. You know, Friday is a team day. We may go bowling. We may go paintball. But it keeps the kids, even during the season, we are only on the field maybe an hour, hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's the details from the film and, you know, having them in study hall so that when they get home, they don't have to do hours of homework. They were already able to start that.
Organized.
You know, he sees things far in advance. And he's like, we need to be doing this. And then you're like, wow, that's why we were doing that. You know, I try to take some of those same principles into track. You know, I was messing with him earlier this week. We had our district meet last Wednesday. I said, Coach, I called a timeout after the 4x8. He was like, what you mean? I said, it didn't go the way I thought it should have went. So I called a timeout and had the entire boys team meet me under the bleachers. I said, we had a conversation. And after that, all was well. The rest of the day went as expected. But we had to get a few things. The focus wasn't there, I thought, from my first relay of the day. And the other kids were out there watching that. So we had to address it. Yeah. I was like, I pulled the coach, I called a timeout early. He was like, Coach, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, accountability, organized, everybody having fun.
Yeah.
And history of the wins and getting it done and believing in your coaches. We're going to take a break. When we come back, one more segment. I'm going to ask Coach how he feels about the state meet coming up at LSU and how everything went the other night for him with regionals with his track team. We'll talk about what he thinks and some of the teams that he thinks he's going to have to beat out to win a state championship. Some of the top track teams, like football, you know who those teams are. You know who's got the points and who's got the guys that are going to come in and qualify. We'll be right back.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357 and have the time of your life. Gage has served Louisiana for over 40 years. Let Gage create a custom tailored solution for your business and become your partner in technology. Give them a call today at 225-753-4243 and help your business get better connected with Gage.
Welcome back. You listen to the Sports Scouting Report. Lee Brecheen. We've got one of the top track coaches in the country on today, Edna Karr High School in Algiers, Louisiana, right outside of New Orleans. Coach Singleton, Errin Singleton, who also coaches running backs for the football team. Coach, I do want to mention this, and not that I needed to be reminded, but 10 state championship games, you know, since 2010, 4 state championship wins in a row at one point, 6 state championships since 2010, which is incredible. I mean, that's one of the best streaks of any high school football program in the country. Right now, it would have to be in the top 10 with Mater Dei in California, maybe Katy, Texas, maybe Florida, St. Thomas Aquinas, when Michael Urban and all them cats played. And then look, all the great players that come out of the program for the older guys listening: Robert Royal, Bernard Robertson, Noel Ellis. The head coach at Warren Easton was a great linebacker at Edna Karr, and a lot of coaches from Edna Karr around the city on the West Bank and in New Orleans and Metairie coaching from Edna Karr. But great program. Don Watney was a great coach, and Jabbar Jaluk and now Bryce Brown and several others. So, and Coach, track, getting back to track, y'all had a regionals this past night, but how did everything go for you?
Everything went well. We ended up taking home the team trophy. That gives us 6 meets this year where we actually took home the team trophy. I'm looking for 7, and which that would mean that's the state. Now that's the one that's the big one. You know, we kind of know going in, you know, who the major players are. You know, I mean, it's track. Everything is out. All times are out there, so you can kind of keep up with who's doing what. You know, I know Westgate is loaded. I mean, they're the defending champ. I know they're loaded. Yeah. Tioga's field events. Oh my gosh, they can score 50 points in the field alone.
Oh, wow.
They're loaded in the field. You know, we're going to go up. I think we're in 9 events, 9 or 10. I was doing the numbers last night before I went to bed. we have a good shot. I have a lot of, we're in all 4 relays. We're in the 100, we're in the 200, we're in the 110 hurdles, we're in the 300 hurdles, we're in the 400, we're in the javelin. So, we had, there were a few hiccups last night. We had a long jumper that we thought, was going to get in. Last night was just one of those nights where he couldn't put it together. So, he was a little upset with himself. He's a cornerback on the football team, first year running track, came out to get faster. Coach, I really don't want running meets. I just want to kind of work on my speed. And that turned into a 22-foot long jumper.
Wow.
Guy running the 110 hurdles. So, I mean, and he embraced it. He was just like, you know what, Coach? Yeah, put me in a meet. Let me see how I can do. And then that turned into, when's the next meet? They know, they see football going on, but it's so many of them in track. They're like, yeah, I mean, we got like 7 starters on the track team though. So, we're going to get back and we'll get to it. And I'm like, look, that speed component is going to kick in.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear Raji Dennis maybe even hitting below that 10-3 possibly. You never know. He might do that 10-2-ish.
We're going to go.
We don't hear a lot of them either.
We are definitely going to go for it. I mean, we're going to leave no stone uncovered. He ran the 10-3-5 last night. He came to me on the infield and was like, Coach, what are we doing tomorrow? I was like, recovery. I said, we're going to take recovery and then we'll get back at it on, Thursday and then you have a week and a half.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I've really taken this year is taking care of the kids. Raji during the season would only run 1 race, 1 relay. Once he hit district, okay, now it's time for 4. But he was fresh. He only ran, and I would calculate, he only ran 1,600 meters the whole season before district. I was like, okay, how you feel? He was like, I feel good. It's time to go.
Well, Coach, you might have your next Bob Hayes. If he keeps going below that 10-3, obviously he's going to get the full scholarship track offers, as you know.
And the kid's only 15 years old.
Yeah, only 15 with two years left for track to get to a 10 or below a 10. And I mean, that could even be Olympic type talk one day if he keeps going that route.
That's his goal. He came to me last year. It was like, Coach, I want to go to the Olympic trials. So I said, okay, well, by the Olympics being in 21, we know 24 is only 3. I said, so you have to be ready in 2. I said, you have to, I did the research. I was like, you got to be at a 10-2 or lower in 2 years. He was like, all right, what do we need to do? So I was like, he doesn't mind working at all. He's texting me the other day. He was like, Coach, the Nike Outdoor Nationals is June 16th through the 20th in Oregon. Let's go run up there. And I was like, all right, let's book the flights, man. Let's go.
Well, remember the name Dennis, because he's also a wide receiver for the football team, and good luck guarding him. You might want to take 10 yards off and not play man on Mr. Dennis, because they lost Aaron Anderson, but they have Mr. Dennis back and a guy named Mikey Paris and several other ones coming back. Tavis Williams, Colin Hamilton. There's a lot of receivers coming back. Torin Durzanet, a lot of receiver DBs coming back. Coach, tell everybody the date of the track meet at LSU, because a lot of people that don't know a lot about track, they don't know about the date. It's a great event to come watch individual performances and tell everybody. I mean, it's not one day, it's over a weekend, but tell everybody how this kind of lays out for you with your team.
Well, we'll actually leave on the 6th and head up to Baton Rouge. I like to get up there a day early. We run on the 7th. It's 4A, 5A, and I believe they're going to lump in 3A.
Okay.
Because that Friday would be 1A and 2A. Just so you're not out there it gets pretty warm. There's not much shade at the outdoor facility. But it'll be an all-day thing on Saturday. We'll get out there. It'll be dark by the time we leave, but the kids deserve it. I mean, LSU puts on a fantastic event. I mean, everything's going on. And the kids, they're buying shirts that say, LHSAA state championship. They're on LSU's campus. It's similar to indoor where they just get out there and they soak it all in. The one thing I'm excited about is, okay, most of my guys that are going, we were there last year. Last year we went up there, we left empty-handed. And that left a taste in their mouth. They was like, that won't happen again. You can go up there expecting to do certain things, but you have to do it. And I think last year, last year, a lot of these guys were 10th graders. Rajiv was a freshman. The only elder statesman we had was Aaron Anderson. He was a junior. So they got up there, and the moment was, we finished 4th in this relay. We were just right off the podium, and now I'm like, it's time to capitalize. And so, the whole year they're like, yeah, this is great, but we know what we have to do when we get to Baton Rouge. So I'm looking forward to it. The guys we're healthy. We're running great times. They're pushing each other. They see Raji running. So now, when they're on the track, it's 3 or 4 guys just, running with them. I was like, stay close. You're in a good place.
Right. He's the man. He's the fastest right now in the 100 and 200 in the state, one of the fastest in the country, and has 2 years of track left. And I'm excited because I know this kid, when you're hitting 10.3 as a sophomore, you definitely got a chance to be at 10 or under 10. And that is not many do that in high school. Coach, thanks for joining us all the way from Algiers at Edna Karr. Got the beautiful picture behind you with the field, Edna Karr. Maybe next year we'll have all them championship banners, and there'll be a track one too, man. You never know. It's coming. It's time. And good luck to you guys. And for everybody out there that loves track, you need to go out and support it. You need to go get a ticket and be a part of it. It's all day. It's all classifications. It's usually 2 days, Coach, 2 full.
Yeah, they'll start up that Friday. And then your 3A, 4A, 5A will be that Saturday. It's a great show. You get to see some of the best talent in the state. Kids are out there giving it everything, leaving everything on the track. It's a fun atmosphere.
Yeah, and a lot of guys that play football and some of your best football players coming up are on that track. In the state meets.
You'll hear a lot of names that you'll hear again. Names you'll hear again even in different sports, football and basketball. You'll hear some names where you'll be like, wait a minute, I've heard that name before.
We appreciate Coach being on. Coach Errin Singleton, our head track coach at Edna Karr, and also the running backs coach. Not an easy job at Edna Karr. You got to be able to run that ball.
I'm here 9 months out of the year. I'm here every day.
The coach said he's got a good O-line coming back, so that helps the running backs coach. They average 75, 280 coming back, and good group, good senior, tough group. Coach, thank you. Don't go anywhere. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Go to our website, lafootballmagazine.com. You can get the show there. You can get the show on YouTube, and you can get the show wherever you get your podcasts. We carry it on Podbean and any of them. We've got about 20 of them. You can go on and check it out. But we'll be back on Monday with another great show. And actually, this show is going to air on Monday. So when you see it, it'll be Monday of next week. We'll see you pretty soon.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.